Hey, good morning. Salving Podcast, Yandra and Bokir. Welcome to That's Life. This is Evolution. Um, I got a very special guest today. Um, man, Wise. Good morning. How you doing, man?
Good morning. Good morning, my brother. How you doing?
Doing great, man. Glad to have you on the show. Uh, for the people who don't know who you are, why don't you give them a little idea of who you are and what you do, man?
Oh man, it's funny because by day I'm a table games dealer at a casino here in Pennsylvania,
Uh-huh.
and by night I'm a podcaster, producer, CEO of Real Watch Productions, and I just love podcasts. I love being able to communicate with people,
Mhm.
have great conversations, um, impact people's lives. Man, this so doing this for me is like I was telling you before we came on, this is my safe place. This is where I love to be, and just being able to share some great content, and hopefully we can inspire people to change their lives.
Absolutely, man. That's great to hear, man. Before we get rolling, I want to go ahead and send a shout out to the sponsors: JG's Lounge, Golden Diamond Productions, TGBTG, and Leia's Question for providing questions so we can get our conversations going in the right direction. And also Vibe, VYV, comes in a little vial. You shake it and sniff it, and it gets your brain going, get you doing things that you can focus on and whatnot. And if you want to support the show, the code is Lution15, Lution 15, and you get a little discount and help support the show. So now that we got all that out the way, uh, today's topic is a father's point of view, the hustle and grind of it all. You're a father, right?
Yes,
So you probably know a little something about that,
yes, I do.
right?
I actually dropped off my grandkids this morning
Oh man.
before
Okay.
I came on air.
Okay. All right. So what we do on That's Life with Evolution, we come up with a topic, and people can either be on one side or the other. We try to give them a little information so they can get in between and make their lives a little bit better. And one of the ways we do that is we introduce a topic and get it going by Leia's question. And we'll go ahead and get Leia's question going right now. Let me try that again. Got a little technical difficulty. One more time, Leia's
It
question.
happens.
All right, we got through it. Hey, man. So this particular topic is a father's point of view, the hustle and grind of it all. And Leia went hard today, man. She came up with several questions, so we're just gonna go ahead and get them knocked out, and then proceed with what I got lined out for today. So the first Leia's question is, what is the difference in raising children today versus yesterday? And what are your thoughts on being a good example to them? What you got for that, Wise?
Uh, Discipline.
Hmm.
The way we
Hmm.
were disciplined back then, the kids today couldn't take it, man. It's just not. It's a different time. Yeah, I understand,
Hmm.
but it's definitely the way we were raised. We was much more disciplined. Man. I think we was probably the last generation that really got some real good whoopings.
Man, look, absolutely, and that really made a huge difference. We we did something that was either out of line or um, we did something that we weren't supposed to do, and we got whipped into shape. And
And something that's very key is community,
mm,
because when I was growing up, and I was raised with the rotary phones and all that. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have none of that. So for my mom to find out that I did something wrong by the time I got home is because someone in the community was keeping an eye on me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's definitely different from now because it's I don't have that same sense of community where we really did watch out for each other. Like sometimes you would get yelled at 3-4 times before you got home.
Right.
And in some cases, if they were related, you was gonna get your butt whipped on the way home. So
Absolutely.
it was and it wasn't where they was abusing you. It was just they was spanked you. You just got to whoop them when you went home. It was so. For me, it's definitely it's to see how my daughters raise their kids, and from where I was raised, it's just I guess they try not to. They don't. I guess they feel like they traumatize them if they were to whoop them or yell at them or something. I don't know.
Yeah, man, you highlighted some strong points, man. You know, social media, video games, cell phones, etc. Really changed the dynamics of how children do things and respond to things these days. And yeah, I can definitely identify with what you're talking about because I remember myself getting disciplined at school for doing something. Got the ruler to the back of the hand.
Yes, sir.
and
yes,
then they called my mom, and she let me know what I was getting into when I was coming home. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, community is definitely not what it was as far as caring, supporting, assisting, and everything that contributes to upbringing in the children, man. And that's a huge loss. You got anything to say about that?
Oh man, that's something with me. That's something me and my nephew we talk about all the time, and we're building a community here online, and we try to show people that listen, we need to get back to that. We need to really start working towards gearing and getting ourselves back to being a community, because this is how they control us, is by having us divided, by us not having our community together. This is how they control us. This is how they have us fighting amongst each other and separated. Whereas if we're a community and we're together, none of that can happen.
Agreed. Wow. And the second part of that question was, what are your thoughts on being a good example for the kids?
That's my goal, is to show them that listen, regardless of whatever you've gone through in life, the struggles you go through, there are people out here that do care and that are to make an impact and change people's lives. Just from your show alone, look at you're trying to make an impact.
Absolutely.
You're trying to talk on topics that not necessarily are going to get a lot of views because it's not clickbait. Saying it's a shame that people like us who are actually creating content for the community to help evolve and grow and build aren't getting the same attention that they're talking about Hollywood gossip.
Right.
Like, okay, yeah, so Cat Williams is exposing the industry. Great, yeah. But what is that doing for us as a community?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Seriously, what is it really doing for us as a community? It's not doing anything. And that's where it's wrong, because even music is different from our generation.
Yeah.
Like,
it was a message in the music. You know, now you really don't even know what's going on with these tracks.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, man. I guess my point on that is to lead by example. My thoughts on being a good example for the kids, man. even though some of them still end up doing their thing, whatever that is, we try to do all we can to be an example for them, be there for them, and look out for them. And hopefully they learn respect because some of them don't have it. Um, and just try to get things back in the right place. Like you said, get back to what I call the basics.
Yeah, and it's something you touched on. It's like it's like we've made mistakes. We're not
Mm-hmm.
perfect. We've
Mm-hmm.
learned but we're trying to help people avoid the mistakes we made,
Right.
and we're trying to show this younger generation like, listen, we've been there. We've done that,
Mm-hmm.
and all we're trying to do is show you a way so you can avoid all that.
Yeah.
And sometimes they
Absolutely.
receive the message, sometimes they don't.
Mm-hmm.
It- It's up to the individual, like you said, but we it can't that can't deter us from continuing to push on, to
Right.
continue to try to impact and touch and touch some of these kids and let them know that we here, we trying to help you, trying to show you the way, and we can't let the fact that we're not gonna reach everyone.
Mm.
If we start dwelling on the fact that we couldn't reach everyone, then the ones that we could reach, they're losing out.
Wow. Strong point, man. Very strong point. Um, the second question you kind of hit on already. It has to do with discipline and how the difference is today versus yesterday. Um, what I see now is a lot of talk. They communicate with the kids or uh, maybe punish them by taking some of these social media devices away, um, which I guess is effective, but we still have a big difference in how the children get along today as versus what we did. We did structured things. You know,
Yes.
we went
Played
outside. We
sports. Yeah.
Yeah, we went outside. We played sports. We uh, interacted with other kids. We did things like board games and things of that matter that kind of sharpen the mind a little bit. Uh, Now, what they do is almost making them like a zombie, man. It's just they don't want to communicate.
It,
Uh,
it, it's now it's more right. If when we used to have sleepovers, it was those things. When you used to go to friends' house, when those group of guys go out a friend's house, and this is what y'all do. Y'all would have board games, and y'all would
mhm.
joke around. Now everybody brings their own TV, their own PlayStation or
Yeah,
Xbox, and play a game, and that's how they do a sleepover now. Sometimes.
yeah. It's distant. It's no more direct connection. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's all about communicating through these devices, which to me takes away from the benefit of human communication and interaction. A lot of uh, what I would say personal uh, communication skills are lost. You know what I mean? What you got for that?
Oh man, like I experienced it with my grandson
Hmm.
when my daughter says when she scolds him and tells him, "Oh well, I'm going to take away your tablet.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
going to take it." Whereas with me, and it wasn't even my mom because my sister's 11 years older than me, and
Hmm.
she was the one who helped raise me. My mom, yes, but my sister was the disciplinary,
Right, right.
and so when I was told something, if I was continuously told not to do that,
Hmm.
it was a smack upside the head. Like,
Yeah.
well, what's wrong? Like, how many times I gotta tell you not to? And so now it's, oh, you want a timeout?
Mm.
You're gonna sit
Yeah.
down here and not do anything.
Mm.
Okay, so yes, it works for those couple of minutes that they're there, whatever, how long you have on timeout.
Hmm.
But
They usually
I don't
get right
know.
back into it.
Yeah, yeah. And listen, sometimes he knows, like he knows when he stops. Like my grandson is smart enough where he knows, like, yeah, okay, now pop is, and he'll chill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, it's different from when I raised them. Raised
Mm-hmm.
her, it was
Mm-hmm.
as different. So I'm kind of more lenient with him and my granddaughter Avery.
Mm-hmm.
So because we're the grandparents, we're supposed to spoil
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
them.
Yeah. That's
So
the whole point and purpose of being a grandparent, man.
yeah.
Um, so the next question here is it's kind of directed directly to, I guess, the father from Leia. Is what is the hardest part of your well, I guess what is the hardest thing that you went through as a child, and how did you overcome it?
Um, not being raised by my dad.
Hmm. Okay.
And I was lucky enough that I had some male guidance along the way. I have four older brothers,
Mm-hmm.
and I had an uncle that was very impactful in my life that helped raise
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely not having my father and not having that steady hand and guidance, like, there all the time. Like, it's different when you learn this stuff from your older brothers and same than when it's coming directly from your dad, and
Yeah.
then
Absolutely.
feeling like, am I such a bad son that he didn't want to impact, he didn't want any part of my development.
Mm-hmm.
So it's those things that kind of, like, it's in the back of your head, and you're thinking about, man, like, why isn't this dude? Why isn't he want? Why doesn't he want to be a part of my life?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that you just grow up with. That's just and for years it was like, man, I was angry.
Yeah.
It was anger towards him, and then eventually it kind of went away. It was like, you know what? If I can't continue to be, he didn't want. It's his loss.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
looked at it
Absolutely.
as that. So that was
And the
something
good
that was,
wow. And the good thing is you had other people step in
yeah.
to kind of relieve that uh, loss of that impact of a direct uh, communication from a father. You know, I'm not sure what happens to certain people when they don't want to be around for the little one. Um, I guess if I could figure that out, I'd probably win a Nobel Peace Prize or something. But my father was present, but he wasn't like all in. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
He had other things that distracted him from being what I am to my kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, there are no distractions here, and I'm in their life every day, all day, and they get that direct communication from me. But I didn't have that, so I can definitely identify with what you're saying. Uh, in part, because he
Yeah.
was present, but uh, not accounted for, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, man, it had an effect on how I communicated with him and how he communicated with me because there's always that buildup of why, you know,
Mhm.
why is this going on? Why is this like this? And then I'm like I made a promise to myself, that I'm not going to be that way. I'm a change it right here. It stops with me, and I'm going to be that dad for my kids that I didn't have for myself. So hopefully, fathers out there who may be listening now or later, they need to get that through their head, man. When you create a kid, you need to stick around and be there for the long haul. You know what I'm saying?
But we got to also look at it from, sometimes it's not their fault. I'm not like, there's a lot of fathers I know
Mm-hmm.
that it's not necessarily their fault that they can't see their kids.
Mm.
It's sometimes the woman you were involved with kind of uses their kids against, and it's happened. I've
Yeah.
known quite a few people where the guy wants to be a part of their kids' family life, and the mother or whatever is still bitter over the relationship or however things ended,
Mm-hmm.
and uses the kids against. So this situations where the father wants to be there, tries to be there, and I understand. Listen, I get it. Some guys just don't stop and they won't quit.
Mm-hmm.
So they're part of the kids' lives. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's a situation where, and it's not. And we gotta understand when it comes to legal issues like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's,
Mm-hmm.
they're always gonna go with the mother. They're always gonna side with. That's something that it's it's to be true that it's always gonna be the guy's fault. It's always something where in the situation he's the guilty party before anything is even decided.
Mm-hmm. Um, I got a couple responses to that because you triggered some thoughts in my head. I went through that with my first son. Um, the mother did her thing to separate us, and it was a heck of a journey. But over time, and him growing up and being able to communicate with me outside of her interaction or interference, we were able to establish that father-son uh, relationship. It was a long process, but I hung in there, and I wasn't gonna quit. You know what I'm saying? But today we interact. We got that bond. You know what I mean? And what he was lacking, uh, he's getting it now. So that's my first thought. Um, let's see. My second thought was hope I didn't miss it or forget it. Uh, trying to jump off into this. Um, mm, anyway, hopefully it'll come to me later. Um, but do you got anything to elaborate on that?
Oh man, it's it's every situation is different. Saying and but I feel nowadays because my nephew is someone who's he's a big part of his son's life, and he's no longer there. Him and his baby mama they're on good terms, or whatever. But he makes sure he's a part of it. So th- I, I feel this guys have kind of because you got to realize there's a lot of guys who weren't raised with by their father,
Mm-hmm.
and they're kind of like us where they're looking at it like I don't want this for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they are. I feel that there's a lot of guys up there stepping up nowadays to
Mm-hmm.
claim their kids and be there for them.
Mm-hmm.
And but it shouldn't have. If it was from I guess the experiences that we had and there was we're from a generation where we're from a time where a lot of males are from our time was in jail. 80s and 90s it was
Mm-hmm.
like we were locked up. A lot of our
Right.
people were locked up.
Right.
And so there's a lot of fathers missing. And so now we get these younger kids that aren't getting incarcerated, are on a good path and are making an impact. And it's 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 not easy, but as long as we have people like yourself
Mm-hmm.
and myself doing
Mm-hmm.
what we're doing and trying to make that impact, I feel that it's a ripple effect, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's us making an impact, and if we can impact one life, it's going to impact hundreds of more.
Man, that's awesome. And you brought up some other things, which actually made me remember what I forgot earlier. And I'm gonna start with the incarceration part. Um, in those times, those were really what the legal system considered valid reasons why the kid should go with the mother. Since then, fortunately, people like yourself and myself have held our ground as a father. And when I was going through my situation legally, um, and I'm gonna highlight this because I think a lot of people don't realize what happens when we go to court over children situations, divorce, whatever. The court system analyzes every single thing about you. They go to the school, they go to your job, they go to your neighbors, they check your record, your history. You know, they even check your credit, um, and they see how stable you are. And if there's stability, that's where the kids go. What happened in the past was that there was no stability with the fathers. You know what I'm saying? They was in trouble. They was doing things here and there that they probably shouldn't have did. So it was a clear cut decision, you know. But in my case, when they went to the schools, you know, the teachers and the children knew who my son's father was. You know what I'm saying? They knew me. They didn't, you know. When they went to my neighbors, all they had to say was good things about me. When they went to my job, all they could see was credibility. You know what I'm saying? Stability. Um, so in my case, because I was doing everything to dot the I's and cross the T's, my son stayed with me. So it can be done, but
Yeah.
you have to have that structure set up to where there are no flaws, there are no questions, there are no situations to where they can easily shift to the other side. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Uh, you got any thoughts on that?
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's they go through it with a fine comb and make
Hmm.
sure that, okay, if we're gonna put this boy in your custody,
Hmm.
make sure he has a stable home, he has a solid
Hmm.
education.
Yeah.
You're gonna be there to provide for them, and that you're not some kind of bad guy or whatever. And so, but there's guys that's what they're doing. They're
Yeah.
completely changing their lives around and wanting to be a part of their kids' lives. That's
Hmm.
one thing I do give this younger generation credit, where is responsibility when it comes to certain things as far
Hmm.
as their kids.
Hmm.
And there's guys, because I work with a lot of young men that are in their early 20s, late 20s and stuff, that are fathers, but they work hard and they're providers for their kids. So
Hmm.
it kind of brings me joy to see that, to be able to see them make an impact and want to be a part of their kids' lives.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's long overdue. Probably should have never got to that point in the beginning, but it's really really good to see fathers being fathers. Um, Gonna kind of shift the gears here for a second because the title of this is a father's point of view, uh, and so I got some things here that I want to bring to the table to so that people can understand how a father establishes his point of view in the things. In the first one I have here, I call it 0 to 60 in 0.5 seconds. Uh, and what that is to me, that's the difference between how a mother would respond to something versus how a father would respond to something. Um, and I'm gonna go into that a little bit because when children are, I guess, being children, the mother, her her temper takes its time easing up that scale, and then when it gets to the end, it starts shaking, and then finally she pops, and boom, there you get it. But a father, you nag a father a couple times, you go from here to here. What are your thoughts on that, man?
But it's funny because I'm the laid back one.
Oh, okay, okay.
So with my wife,
She's the
yeah,
spark.
she's a spicy Latina. She's
Uh, okay.
so so she goes from 0 to 60
All right.
in no time, where
Mhm.
I'm much more laid back. I'm much more easygoing.
So
It
so
takes a
the
lot.
role,
It takes a lot to upset me
yeah.
to really because that's more from me not wanting to lose control of allow anyone to let me lose control of myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's easier for me not to get upset. And to me because it's just something about it. I'm way more. People would look right and they'll see me and my wife and they
Mm-hmm.
would think just by how I look and my size and everything
Mm-hmm.
that I'm a big mean guy. Like they say I don't smile and everything. But what if
Uh-huh.
you get to know me, I'm just a big bear. I'm like a big cuddly teddy bear. And so it's just different. I'm
Mhm.
like I said, I'm just much more laid back.
Well, I think that depends. Of course, that's your comfort zone. You
Yeah,
know,
no, no, like in a situation now, my daughter worked with me for a minute,
hmm
and she texted me that she was on a game and a guy was being very disrespectful,
hmm
and I had been at the job quite. Everybody knows me at my job,
hmm
and as soon as I get there, head of security stops me and like, listen, we took care of it. Because I came in to work early.
hmm
Because once she texted me and I got dressed, came to work, and they know, oh, you're not supposed to be here at this time. And they were and so because when it comes to that,
hmm
when it comes to you disrespecting my daughter or anything,
Absolutely, absolutely.
it goes from 0 to 60 quickly.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And,
So yeah,
and
there
that's
is such situations, yes.
yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly the point of stressing right there. Because I'm the same way. When I'm at home, I'm chill. I'm kicked back. My sons can probably get away with stuff that they probably don't normally get away with because I'm relaxed. Uh, but let that situation shift or alter a little bit. Yeah, definitely, definitely. um, so the second thing I got here is this may just be me or a couple people out there, only two. Uh, when I'm dealing with my kids, I'll, I only ask them questions that I already know the answer to. So in other words, if something's broken in the house or something's out of place, or I'll ask them the question, I'll give them a chance, but I already know the answer. You
But
know what I
it,
mean?
isn't that what our parents did to us? Like,
Oh yeah,
isn't
yeah they did.
they're asking us a question that they already know the answer to,
Uh huh.
right?
Yep.
And it's something parents know. Like, listen, it's something we do. We ask the
Yep.
question. We know the answer to it already. 'Cause
Absolutely.
even my wife does it now when she
hmm
asks me questions. She try to use that on me, like where she knows the answer to it already,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, okay, since you already know the answer, I'm not gonna give you the answer you want. But it's something, yeah. It's like you ask a question, you know the answer to it, you
hmm
know someone's gonna lie.
hmm
Oh, it wasn't me. Okay, all right. So, that vase just broke by itself,
Yeah.
or something just that they drank all that juice and then something like something
hmm
something.
Yep. And what's funny is, two of my sons stay with me, and it's only them and me in the house. So when something comes up broken, I grab both of them, I put them together, and say, "Hey, what happened? Who broke it?" And they'll both be like, "I don't know, I don't know," and trying to cover for each other. But
You can't get mad at that. They got each other's back. So
yeah,
you,
you're right.
you can get mad at it, yes,
Yeah.
but it's like you gotta look at it like they got each other's back, like
hmm
and that's what you want. You want your kids to have each other's back and always look
hmm
out for each other, regardless of who it is.
Right. Exactly.
Always take care of your sibling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so the third thing I have here is I tend to always watch and listen, sleep with one eye open and both ears open. Uh, does that spark any memory or
Uh,
situation for you?
Well, it's funny because the girls talk to me more than they can come rely on me. They like they'll talk to me before they talk to my wife. Like
Mm-hmm.
they'll it's weird because well, it's not weird. It's just so my wife. That's one that's like, oh well, you need to speak to them because they'll talk to you. That's her thing. It's like they'll talk to you. They don't want to say nothing to me, but they'll talk to you.
Daddy's
So
girls.
it's different. So for me, it's like it's easy for me to have a conversation with them and talk about stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and and when they have to express themselves, they express
Mm-hmm.
themselves, and it's usually about something their mom did or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good, man. It sounds like a great relationship between you and your daughters, which is commendable. You know, mad respect for that, because that's not everywhere. You know what I mean? Uh, so I appreciate that, man. I like what you're doing, and of course, I'm sure you're going to keep it up. But hopefully, there's people out there listening that will be inspired to do that same thing if they're not already there. Uh, Next thing I got here is gentle but lethal, which is kind of what we highlighted on earlier. Um, I have my gentle moments with my sons, like when we're playing ball or just talking, having a conversation, father to son, whatever. Uh, and then I have my lethal moments, which means it's time to be serious. It's time to direct them in the right direction or correct them in areas they need correction in. For example, maybe they're not doing what they're supposed to do in school, and you get that call, text, or email from the school saying this happened, or the teacher, leaves your voicemail, and time to get direct. You know what I'm saying? Um, what are your thoughts on that?
Um, it's I have a situation where like I said, me and my daughters we have a pretty good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So one day one of them, the youngest one, decided to sort of steal her uncle's car, and I came home and I looked at it and I was like, I have nothing to say to you.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing I want to speak to because so disappointed
Mm-hmm.
in the fact that you would do something like this.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I just walked in and just walked past her and went upstairs. It just did not want to speak to her whatsoever. Because
Mm-hmm.
that was something like, first of all, you're underage,
Mm-hmm.
um, don't have a driver's license,
Mm-hmm.
and you're driving your uncle's car. Like,
You
yeah,
know, uh, I believe everybody makes mistakes
yeah,
here and there at some point, especially when they're growing up as kids. They get curious, they get ambitious, they have these little weird ideas that they think are good at the time, and they do things like that. Um, but yeah, as fathers, we have our moments to where we need to let it simmer before we
yeah.
come back to that conversation because of frustration or disappointment or whatever. Um, and that's healthy. You know what I mean? It helps us realize where we are and what we need to do to adjust to have the proper conversation in the right frame of mind. You know what I mean? So what do you think?
Uh, it, yeah, it depends on the situation, and
Yeah.
then it depends on what it was. Like you said, I had to cool down. Because
Mhm.
that. So, and I knew myself, and I was like, right now, if I it's just not gonna be nice. So I waited for it to calm down, and she was sad. It hurt her because she disappointed me.
Mm,
So the fact that she disappointed me, just the fact that I know that it hurt her to disappoint me in that way.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So it kind of when she told me that, and it kind of like, all right, still gonna punish you, but
Yeah, right,
but
right.
that's gonna ease the blow a little more.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, you realizing your mistake and
Hmm.
stuff. So
That's amazing, man. And then me as a father, I usually tend to say certain things, especially when I know my sons are trying to be slick and get over on something. Uh, I got those questions that I ask, and here's some examples of those questions. Who did it? What for? Don't do it no more. Do you have any questions that you ask or state things that you say to let them know that it's a caution line there? Tread softly.
No, no, I don't know. I don't have any lines but they know. They know.
Hmm.
It, and it's crazy because I don't change tones.
Hmm.
I don't raise my voice. I don't
Hmm.
yell because that's just not my nature.
Right, right, right.
But when I do yell, like one day, my daughter was having a fit, and I was upstairs recording or something, doing something.
Hmm.
She was just having a fit, just banging and stuff. And I went downstairs and I yelled, and her eyes opened, open like, whoa.
Uh-huh.
And it was the culmination. It was the build up of a lot of things.
Hmm.
It was personal matters, things with my mom's health and all
Hmm.
this other
Hmm.
stuff, and then her have given causing giving me a headache with the banging and
Yeah.
everything that was going on with her downstairs. So yeah, that was probably one of the moments where I just kind of
Hmm.
just was not myself.
Yeah, that was something that tipped the scale when you already had some stuff built up, and yeah, I can relate to that. And for me, I'm really not a yeller. There's been times I had to raise my voice uh, and be more direct, but for me, it's more of a look. I got a look that I give them. It's like, boy, you better, you better
Yeah, you
stop
better.
right there.
Yeah. My sister was she was gifted with the look. She
Oh,
was the
okay.
gift. My sister was the one gifted with the look where she could like, boy, if you don't get your ass off of there,
Yeah, man. And there's times where I have a long, hard day at work. Fathers, that's what we do. We work, we grind, we go out there and get it so we can take care of everybody. And my sons call me Mr. Grumpy Pants sometimes, or they give that type of uh, comment, that I'm grumpy. Uh, One, I'm tired. You know, two, I'm trying to unwind and get some sleep. That's usually when I'm grumpy, when
yeah.
they making noise and they wake me up and I'm trying to sleep. So, do you have those grumpy moments?
Uh yeah. And it's usually when I don't take my nap. If I don't,
There you go.
because
There you go. Uh-huh.
I work 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. right, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
up by 1:30 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
2 o'clock, getting ready for work and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So when I come home, if I don't take a nap, yeah, it's like it's time for me to go to bed.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
but see, so me and the wife are empty nesters, so I'm good now. Like we're
Mm-hmm.
but last night I still with the grandkids, so
Mm-hmm.
it was fun. It was I wasn't grumpy. You can't be grumpy with your grandkids.
No, man, they kind of hit that soft spot, I guess. You know, uh, they're tender to your heart, man. Uh, so I'm gonna go here. Um, in your definition, or in the best way you can explain as a father, what does a father's love mean to you?
Oh, man. Kind of. Coming from where, as a son, or just a father giving love? Like
Both, both.
um, well, as giving love,
Mm-hmm.
it's nothing. It's important. It's
Mm-hmm.
something to let them know that you love them, and you're proud of them, and so giving it to is not a problem. Is because I know sometimes parents, like my wife is not uh like, again, my wife, she was raised by her dad, but her dad was a rough man,
Mm-hmm.
a rough man, and so my wife isn't really the lovey dovey, all this other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's more that than anything else that I have to balance it out.
Absolutely, absolutely. Every scenario is different in its own way. Um, so for me, uh, my definition of that, or the way I can explain it the best, is, um, and I tell my sons this from time to time, uh, and this is my perspective. Um, I'll go out and
Evo, my apologies, Evo.
no,
I'm
no,
sorry,
no,
but
no, no.
I have to let my wife in right quick.
Okay,
If you
go ahead and do
give
that.
me 1 sec, I'm sorry.
No, no, you good. So basically, I go out and work, and I grind hard, and when it's time to eat, I want my sons to eat and get full before I start eating. That's my mentality. We all eat at the same time, but as I do my thing, uh, I feed everybody, make sure they're full, and then I eat. Um, so I'll probably repeat this when he gets back, so he can be on the same page. Uh, but that's my mentality. I want everybody to eat. I'm gonna eat good. You know what I'm saying? But they gonna eat too. We're just gonna hold up for a second till he get back. He got some things going on. And to recap, this is That's Life with Evolution, and we're talking about a father's point of view, the hustle and grind of it all. And we're with Wize, and so far so good. Things are going great here, and we're about to get back into it.
My apologies.
No,
So
no, you good, man. Things happen. You know, you taking care of your business. So basically, what I was kind of doing was keeping things going while you was away. Um, but recapping, um, when I go out and hustle and grind and get that, get the money, put the food in the house, I want to make sure everybody eats before I eat, and I'm gonna eat good. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my mentality, right? That's my mentality. What you got, man?
no, that's something it's important. Everybody eats.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody eats them,
hmm
regardless of who you are.
hmm
You can't expect just to eat yourself, man. It sucks when you're eating by yourself. It's more important when everybody's eating, and everything, even with your friendships and
hmm
relationships. It's important that everyone eats.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's go here. Uh, def- Describe the father's hustle as far as, uh, I guess, in my opinion, it never ends. From the time you find out that there's a child on the way, it just never ends. You kick in gear, you get the mindset, and the thought process is to go get it all day, every day, and when you wake up the next morning, it starts all again. There's no time to rest, no time to slack or take it easy. It's just time to do it. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, well, you got to be that example. You
Hmm.
have to be that example. They have to see that you're willing to grind and work hard.
Hmm.
So when they see that you work hard at something, that you're hard at work, and you're bringing, you're providing, and you're doing the things you're supposed to do, right? That kind of sets the example where
Hmm.
this is how you do it. This is kind of sort of the blueprint. Yeah, when we're not perfect, we're still
Hmm.
learning, but
Hmm.
then that's where you evolve. You learn from your parents' mistakes.
Boom.
Aren't the same way as your parents.
Hmm.
So hopefully they learn from your mistakes and see like, all right, I'm not gonna do that when I have my child.
Mm. Right.
I didn't like that. I'm gonna do it this way.
Hmm. Absolutely, man. So right now, I'm gonna shift gears again, and this is kind of a father's perspective when dealing with your wife or spouse or significant other. So for me, for instance, I don't like to repeat myself. I like to say things once, and if you're listening, and paying attention, you should have it right. uh,
I guess it would be the reverse. It would be the reverse.
okay.
It would be honestly it would be where she does not like repeating herself. She
Hmm.
doesn't. And again,
So
but it,
go ahead.
no, but it's again we balance each other out. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
absolutely,
We
absolutely.
balance each other out. So
And,
it kind of works in the way that she is
mhm.
right. I'm the opposite. So
Man, and that that's like the you mentioned that multiple times, and I want to highlight that for a minute because like I said, every relationship is different. You just have to balance it out, like you're saying, and balance is very important in a family, in a marriage, and even when dealing with the kids, man. So a lot of people don't understand the importance of that. In the roles we have to kind of shift to make everything balance out. Um, Depending on who you with and how they are, like you said, uh, your wife came up on the strong side. So it's not saying that you're not strong. You just balancing things out until you have to prove your strength. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So and a lot of people misinterpret that. You know, um, but let's make it right. How do we voice our opinion today and let them know that balancing things out is not showing a sign of weakness. It's actually showing strength.
bro, they don't understand though. They don't want that other side.
Hmm.
That's the thing where if you're able to control that side of you, right?
Hmm.
That shows a lot of strength.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
shows a lot of restraint.
Hmm.
And there's been times where that side has come out. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm.
And it's not been for the good. So I know what I'm capable of.
Hmm.
I would hope you would not want to find out.
Right.
But for me, it's I don't think of it as weakness
Hmm.
because I know what I'm capable of,
Yeah, absolutely.
and
Yeah.
knowing that I'm able to control that side of
Hmm.
me and not take it to that side,
Hmm.
it shows a lot of restraint, shows a lot of strength. So they could take it as weakness if they want,
Right.
but at the end of the day, I know what I'm capable of,
Absolutely,
and
man.
and, and when it comes to protecting my family and protecting minds,
Hmm.
there's nothing that's gonna stop me from protecting it.
Absolutely, man. and there's a lot of wisdom in what you just said, a lot of responsibility, and a lot of fatherhood in what you just said. And as you were talking, I was thinking about a conversation I was having with a good friend of mine about my kids because I was heated. I was heated one day. I had to, kind of step out the house and cool down, and I was talking to them, and I remember saying, they might be fearing my anger right now, but they just heard me growl. They haven't heard me roar.
Yeah.
So that fire is in all of us. You know what I mean? Especially uh, when we control it and use it when needed. And that's where a lot of people make a misconception about a person. Especially if they're chill all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
they think because they're quiet and they lay back and they chill
hmm
that they're weak.
hmm But
That's
that's not the
just
case.
someone. That's just someone who knows not to fly off the handle, not to. And it's more. It's again. It's more more showing of restraint. Like I feel
hmm
like being able to hold that side of you back
hmm
and not unleash it on people all the time.
hmm
It takes a lot of strength.
it does, and it's unfortunate that there's a lot of people out there. Couple of them, only two. I'm on two, uh, who don't have that control. And on both sides, men and women. I've seen people go off for, I mean, absolutely nothing really, and I'm just looking like, is this really, you know, something that you want to be doing like in the public, and it's not necessary. For one, two, what really are you dealing with? Because this situation does not require all that response and that anger and that attitude. Um, so yeah, there's a few people out there, a couple of them, who who can't control that anger, frustration, whatever. Uh, Fire, I call it fire, because you know sometimes you got to let it off when necessary. But uh, but the control of that is is something I had to learn uh, when I went through some things, and it was very difficult because it's not easy to control, especially when it's a huge fire, you know, like you're a walking dormant volcano or something like that ready to erupt. You know what I mean? Uh, but I was able to master that, like yourself, and became a much better person for it. Respect wise, personal wise, just all around. And it's uh, very pleasing to hear somebody else and witness it that you have that control, man. So I think the more of us fathers who can develop that control and use it when necessary, the better off fathers will be. What you think, man?
I definitely agree with that. Definitely
hmm
agree with that 100%, man.
hmm
It's again, it's like, all right. So again, you would when you look at me and my wife, you would look, even though she has a RBF, she for those who don't know what that is a resting bitch face. So so some people just think that I'm the mean one,
Uh-huh.
and it could be further from the truth.
hmm
So uh, it's oh man, being able to really hold it in and not want to take it there.
hmm
You just it's not easy to master, man. Definitely,
hmm
it took years, it took years to
Yeah.
really not try to fly off the handle, and
hmm
but then you got to find your outlet in other places. Like
Absolutely.
for me, it was sports,
hmm
so I would like pent up anger from not having my dad in my life and all this. So
Mm-hmm.
I took it out in sports, played baseball, played football.
Mm-hmm.
So you also have to find somewhere to channel it. Now
Right.
it's podcasting. Now it's me being able to come on here
Mm-hmm.
and voice my opinion and express myself and let that out and let out whatever I have on my mind or whatever I have on my soul
Mm-hmm.
and speak it to the people.
Man, that's amazing, man. That's awesome. Uh, I got some more things here that I can go to, but I think I'm good, man. I want to give you an opportunity to let us know whatever you got working on or coming up, and even if you got some other things to say about the topic today. This is your moment, man. What you got?
Oh man, check out my podcast, Stuck in My Mind podcast on all major platforms. Check out my YouTube channel, Real Wize TV. We also have a Stuck in My Mind podcast. Also has a YouTube channel as well. Just and then and check out my production company, www.realwiseproductions.com. Um, it's just we have all the latest shows. I actually got a couple of meetings today with a couple of people
Mm-hmm.
to talk about some show ideas and stuff like that. And um, our, a mutual friend of ours, JG,
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah. You're connected with a good dude, man. You're connected with a good dude, man. He's definitely a good person,
Absolutely.
and so thank you. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Hey,
Um,
man. Yeah, and I would like for
I
you
had
to
a great
come back.
time.
I'm glad
Whenever,
you had a
man,
good time.
anytime, man. I'm love to come back. It was good.
Absolutely,
I
man.
enjoyed it.
I appreciate it. I'm glad you had a good time, and I really, really appreciate your input because I think the point was made today. You know what I mean? And that's really what I look for when I design all this and come up with it um, to make that impact and help people to understand really the main points I'm trying to bring out. And as far as fathers are concerned, because I'm one of them, um, if people are looking at us in the wrong angle,
Yeah.
with the wrong type of thought process. Hopefully, after seeing this and hearing some things expressed by true fathers, they can kind of figure it out.
Definitely, man. But I really appreciate you having me on the show.
Yeah, man. And yeah, once again, ladies and gentlemen, Wize, uh, look for his podcast and all those things he got coming up that he mentioned. Uh, and once again, I'm Ev.O.Lution with That's Life with Ev.O.Lution. And we'll be back soon with more episodes. I got people lining up, man.
Oh man, listen, it's I love doing it, man.
Mhm.
I'm booked through. I'm already booked through April
Nice.
for my
Nice.
podcast, and I do three
Nice.
shows a week. I do 3 shows live
Mhm.
every week, so
Mhm.
that's 3 guests a week, and
Mhm.
it's just me having some great conversations and being and learning because
Yeah,
I'm in the process. While I'm doing this, I'm learning.
absolutely.
I'm growing as a person. I'm
Mhm.
trying to grow every day and become a better person every day.
Mhm.
And so that's all you can do.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. And we're going to go ahead and roll out. But look forward to communicating with you in the future, man.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to it as well. Definitely, we can
All right,
definitely do this again. Have you on my
absolutely.
show soon, man.
Hey, sounds good, man. I'm looking forward to it. We'll get that connected.
Definitely.
All right. You take care.
All right,
That's life.
peace.
Peace. Yeah.
Peace.